sideways mode. Oh boy, look at this garbage. Let's see, how do we swap this around? Hate the device. I'm gonna make you guys seasick. We want to swap this out. All right. So, hey, it's Tino, Digits Big Crypto. So, I figured I'd go live. Let's see what's going on with Electroneum. Maybe we could talk about what we've seen on Twitter. You know, everybody wants to know, hey, what's the deal with Electroneum? And I don't know. Half the time, you know, what the right answer is to that. So, the moral of the story is, Zach's out there. The moral of the story is that we've seen, you know, some new tweets from Richard Ells recently. Recently being over the last few weeks. You know, I think that, you know, at least seeing some interaction from the Electroneum senior management is a good thing. You know, I see him putting out some. The one thing I have known about Richard is, you know, when he talks about a particular topic or kind of pings a particular topic, they're looking to do something or working on something relative to that. So I'm making myself some rice and some chili for tonight. I'm gonna throw my rice in the bin here. I got it cooking. I'm gonna put some rice with some chili together. So I saw him, you know, tweet about the NFTs that they make, and so clearly, you know, they have their NFTs. They want to try to be able to, you know, bring them online in a more robust way. Usually, when they ask the question, they already know what they're going to be doing. So, I just hope they just don't put them on OpenSea. That thing is a disaster, and I wouldn't touch OpenSea with a 10-foot pole. And I've put some references to Hive. They can easily put them on the Hive network, and of course, you know, you got many different options to integrate or to make your NFTs available and marketable. You know, the truth be known, you know, only folks that more listings. Yeah, more listings would be good. Let's go back to that real quick here. Ryan saying more listings. We still haven't seen this. Yeah, so I'm going to answer that. So the NFTs, I think they want to at least get them out there and make them available. Does that do anything for Electroneum as a whole? No, but you know, it can kind of. I think they transmit them on Wax. I'm not sure what the problem is because on Wax you can sell them and trade them and what have you. So Wax works just fine. So it kind of leads me to think that they're on the cusp of something else. I also saw something about Richard had talked a while back about being able to use Electroneum in some DeFi. He was talking about using it in DeFi. So those two are married. You know, they're together. And to do that, you need to have a wrapped Electroneum or some kind of a bridge to another chain. Yeah, it'd be nice if they got in touch with the Hive folks. They could easily have a Hive bridge made, and you can move Electroneum in as swap Electroneum, and be able to use it in DeFi projects, in games and other things. I know currently it's used on Splinterlands, and you know, I know there was a big push there for a while, using it on Splinterlands. And there'd be other opportunities for Electroneum. There could be some DeFi products made, and the NFTs could be used accordingly. You can even set up an NFT to distribute some coins and sort of like a staking type of capability. I'm not sure what they're doing there, but it's something obviously that they're trying to do. Getting back to your point, which I think is very valid. Let's see if we can bring that up. I can't even bring it up on my screen. Look at that. Son of a gun. There we go. As far as listings, you know, I haven't heard anything, even through the rumor grapevine, of any listing going live. I know that they've expressed that they were working on listings, and U.S. listings. Quite frankly, I'm not going to hold my breath, and if it happens, it happens, and we'll deal with it then. We can get excited then. And in the meantime, I'm just not seeing it now. I know that who are the guys there? Milo created the Milo exchange that could be used in the U.S. It's not a brand name, but it's an option. I wish those guys luck, and I hope that they're able to be successful. You know, got my rice cooking there. I'm at work, so I do the counter cook. I got my toaster oven and my rice. So I'm trying to get some stuff done here at work, and I'm hungry. I'm gonna whip up some rice and chili. So back to setting. So a brand name exchange. From what I've learned from experience with Electroneum, if it hasn't happened, it's because Electroneum doesn't want it to happen, or Electroneum has chosen not to make it happen. They've had the rug pulled out from underneath of them many times, and things that they were working on, and they were rug pulled underneath Electroneum, and they weren't able to bring it to fruition. Many ideas that they wanted to make go forward. They've hit a lot of walls. They've had the rug pulled out from under them a couple times. But when something doesn't happen, it's usually because Electroneum has chosen it not to happen. Okay, so I can only say that from experience. It doesn't mean I'm right. But from my perspective, following this thing, from a long time, I think that that's where it's gone. Nextly says he thinks it's a failed project. It's not a failed project because it works. So that's hyperbole, and that's just trolling. It's not a failed project. They have things. The wallet works. Everything does what it says it's supposed to do. Now, if you would have wrote it's a stalled project, I would have said, yeah, you know what? You have a point there. It's a stalled project. But it's not a failed project by any stretch of the imagination. And it's silly to say such a thing. But it is a stalled project that from the user's perspective, because for the last few years we haven't heard much or anything from the Electroneum folks. And that I think would qualify it as being called stalled when there's nothing new or going on. Now, I know that Richard came out and did a video where he he kind of threw something into the air about that they're hoping that they can use Electroneum in a couple of island nations. The fact of the matter is if they are able to pull that off, that will turn a lot of heads, and that will be quite major because there's only a couple of countries that have made legal tender from crypto and being Bitcoin, and for Electroneum to be declared legal tender in a couple of other countries uh, would would be pretty outstanding. Having said that, um, they've had a lot of really great ideas that, like I said, got the rug pulled out from under them. So, yeah, that would be nice. I'm glad that they're working towards that. Um, and if it happens, that'll be really exciting. Um, but, you know, I would tend to think that they have no better than a 50-50 chance at the moment from a outside, I don't know what I'm talking about perspective. Um, I can only base my comments and thoughts on what I see. And obviously, the folks that are behind the scenes that work at Electronium can see a lot more. Um, and then, of course, there are other things that I know that they've been working on, upgrades to AnyTask. I think even Jonathan a year or so ago wanted to create a photo and music system. I don't know if they ever or if they are working on that in the background. But one thing that Richard did mention was that he wanted to make the Electroneum network, the ETN network, more functional to folks that build websites. In other words, add additional tool sets, APIs that can be integrated into the Electroneum network so that it can interact with Electroneum, which would be pretty sexy. To be able to do a login with Electroneum ID like they do on AnyTask, to be able to have more tools to be able to accept ETN, refund ETN, get reports, what have you. Those types of things I think would be welcomed and allow a more seamless integration, a more productive integration into websites from producers, so that others can start making sites to do things. We don't have to worry about Electroneum making any task. We can, make a website to do this or make a website to do that and have the interaction capabilities that Electroneum has with the ETN network, so that you can build a full and more robust application. So that's a bonus because there's a lot of people out there that would love to build things and incorporate the Electroneum APIs and make stuff to do things. And that's only to their best interest to make that happen. So I think that's something that I think we'll see in the future. Maybe the island stuff, if we're lucky. If the island stuff actually happens, Electroneum will probably see a big benefit. Because currently, somebody says, "Oh, Electroneum is always going down," and I said, "No, it goes up as much as it goes down, but it always seems to never keep its gains." I think that's more of a fair statement. And we've seen Electroneum go up, 4 cents, 3 cents, but it never has been able to hold that, which is unfortunate. But it is what it is. There are a lot of projects out there. Everybody's trying to make things happen. And in the meantime, there are others that are doing similar types of things. So Electroneum is starting to lose their first mover advantage in many areas that they were way ahead. Um, so it would be nice to see them come out with a new round of tech or integrations to try to keep them ahead. They did upgrade uh, the app, which is nice. They finally brought the KYC capabilities using up to 2022, where there was a lot of um, services that took care of that and that you could integrate it into your apps. And they were one of the first ones to do the KYC, and the problem is there were no tool sets back then, and they had to kind of do everything themselves or manually, being the tip of the spear. And over the last 3 years, everybody else is going, yeah, this is something that's going to be needed. And a lot of great tool sets came out. People started incorporating them into projects and took a step ahead of Electroneum in regards to the functionality. So Electroneum finally catching up with what's currently on the market, integrating what's currently available on the market makes a big difference, and finally gets them caught up. Even though they were the first, their technology stayed, 2018 instead of 2018, 2019 instead of 2022. So that's a good thing to see happen. Other than that, I'm not sure what we're going to see. Could be just about anything. I would tend to think that the developers are busy working on something, and I know that they keep hiring people. So they're obviously up to something. So basically, we're gonna just have to hang in there and wait to see what this something ends up being. Let's see what other questions we got here real quick. Ryan says Electroneum lost a lot of content creators. Yeah, because there was nothing to talk about or feedback, and so it made it tough. And yeah, so some content creators, chose to do something different. Zach saying people are mad they bought during ICO and they'd get rich overnight. Yeah, well, same thing with people who bought Neo and IOTA and the Nulls. They all bought, thinking they're gonna get rich, and it didn't happen. All right, it's just the way it is. Now, did they end up building things? Yeah. As a fact, Neo finally is getting a little attention because they were approved to do NFTs in China. So their price went up a little bit, but they have been forgotten about. I call these coins the lost legacy coins. They're not the new shiny thing. They were things that everybody loved at one time. And even Elastos, I still hold on to my Elastos coins. It's a great project, but you never hear about it anymore. Neo, I hold on to my coins. Yeah, they're up a little bit, but they never went anywhere. There's nothing you can do about it. Same with Electroneum. And these projects just keep building, just keep building, just keep building. So, yeah, so they have nothing to be mad at but themselves. If all you're concerned about is gains, if you're not getting them from a project, you take your equity out and you move it somewhere else. That's your responsibility. It's not Electroneum's. The Electroneum's responsibility is to build the environment. I'm not mad at Electroneum. Quite frankly, I'm glad they're still around and they're still expressing that they want to make things happen. That's great. It's my responsibility if I'm keeping my assets parked in Electroneum. It's my choice, my responsibility, and that I'm tired of people blaming everybody else for their decisions. So I don't care if they're mad. Really don't care. Um, Zach saying I'm waiting for news too, but look, in the last 3 months, all of the announcements, maybe they were stalling for the best of it. I don't know. Hey, how you doing there? You want to know me? I can't answer that. Not saying I'm not allowed to. I'm saying I have no idea what's going on, what they're choosing to do, if they have even news to announce, um, or if they're still working on stuff. I just don't have answers. What I can tell you is that I don't think there's. I think if Electroneum had stuff to release, they would have released it, and the information would be coming from them. So, if they were ready to release something into the public, they would have done it. And since they haven't, they're either still working on it or they don't have anything. And I think any old information over the last few months, let's say since like September, October, where they were going to release all sorts of announcements. I'm not sure that was accurate, or if things changed. I don't know what happened with that. I can't explain it. There's such a dichotomy with what's supposed to have happened and what did happen. So, let's see here. You want to know me? Says Electroneum is one side. Well, Electroneum is on one side. I'm buying too. Right? Because that's definitely, definitely. That's when I'm gonna clean them all up, because you know Electroneum's not going anywhere. So the fact of the matter is that one sat, you can't help but earn, make some gains on that. mm. It's more as a hobby now for ETN. Yeah, I keep my eyes on it. I'm not buying any unless it's a really super good deal where I can't pass up on it, because it is an active project, just like Neo, like my Neo and my Elastos. Um, it's not much else I could add to that. Monies that I have, I'm going to be putting into the NFT game that I'm working on, which is on the Hive network. Hive is an interesting system. It used to be Steam, basically, and all the people from Steam created Hive when Justin Sun tried to take over the Steam network, and bought it and thought that he owned everybody, and everybody just said, eh. And then they went and they created Hive. So that's kind of just what that's all about, and it's actually pretty decent. You want to know me? He says XRP, ETN Quantum Lab Project. I don't believe that there's any direct correlation with the digital pound to ETN, except for that the people happen to be on both boards or what have you. They could rub shoulders with somebody and maybe get some kind of side deal, but there's no direct correlation between the two. Dave's out there. Hey Dino, all them ETM staff must be working on something, eh? Well, you know, Richard, owner of the company, he part with money easily. In America, we would call him a tightwad. Somebody had is tight with their cash and doesn't spend it fruitlessly. And so I would tend to think that if Richard's paying for employees, he would not be paying for employees that he doesn't need. I don't think it's his style. I don't think it's something that he would put up with for any period of time. To be frank with you. So I would tend to agree with you. Yeah, don't mind me. Like I said, I'm just cooking some rice here. I would tend to agree with you that if he's got 50 people, he's got them working on something. Now, I'm sure AnyTask takes up a portion of that. The Electroneum network. You got ETN Limited. You got the Electroneum network. And then there was one other company that handles the wallet and the wallet distribution. So there's kind of three different groups or areas that that work on Electroneum. Sorry about all that. That work on Electroneum. So obviously things are he's working on something. Somebody's doing something, and I wish I had more information to share with you to say, oh yeah, this is the type of thing, and this is what's going to happen. No, I don't think we all know. I think the best clues are the ones that I discussed in the beginning of this video. You're going to have to go back and watch it again to see it. I think that when Richard talks about a particular subject, it's because he is hypersensitive to it, because they're looking at or doing something with that area of the company. Just from historical reference, I noticed that he'll talk about something, it'll be in his vocabulary, and within 6 months something related to Electroneum will also touch that topic. So I would tend to think that like I said, something with the NFTs, something with DeFi, or the ability. See, Electroneum really needs to be able to be wrapped or bridged to a network that has smart contract capabilities, something like the Hive network, something like Polkadot, something like there are a few out there, and those are the ones that I know would work. I know they could actually get Electroneum working with Hive within a month if they wanted to. I mean, I set up, I'm by myself. I built a coin. I set up a pool. I gave mining rewards, and I did all that within a week by myself. So Hive is, they have a lot of contracts that you can tap into right out of the box, and I would tend to think the folks at Hive.io would be happy to build a Hive Electroneum bridge, where you could move Electroneum to Hive and wrap it, and then start using it in applications and doing things with it. He did mention something about earning Electroneum. So I think there could be something going on out there that did I push my battery here? Let me turn my battery on so I don't get, there we go, so I don't run out of juice. There we go. I think that that there's something that they're looking at. I have a feeling it's going to be connected to Ethereum, but whatever. There'll be some kind of Ethereum sidechain configuration, maybe through Solana, um, which they could build a bridge to that and make all that happen. That's an option. That's a possibility. These are all things in the air, but he's been talking about this for a while. So there's no doubt in my mind that they'd like to make that happen in some way. Uh, Let's see what we got here. How is ETN making money now? I The answer there is they make little to no money now. That's the right answer. And it's pretty obvious. Their intent is to get usage going. And once people are using it in AnyTask and doing things, then they could kind of get a cut. And I don't believe that he's going to force, as long as they have money in the bank, they're not going to force any type of payment, any type of tax on the Electroneum network to slow integration into other things. So they're still in the build mode. Frankly, if you take a look at it, I mean, they got some stuff running, but they're basically, at ground floor again. And, most of the stuff that they tried and just hit a wall. And whether it was their fault or somebody else's, it doesn't matter. They hit a wall. So I do give Electroneum credit for getting themselves back up, dusting themselves off, and trying a different path. But the majority of what has happened or what they've built quickly became outdated or failed. From no fault of their own to the direction they've chosen. So I think AnyTask is really the only core use case for Electroneum that has potential and is still used. And I think, that could do well. But they're starting from ground zero, I think, again, because everything, all the ball was dropped. There was no advertising, there was no promotion for it, there's nothing for the last few years. Again, the world went crazy over the last few years, and is it Electroneum's fault? Probably not. Is it their problem? Sure. It's absolutely their problem, whether it's their fault or not. So, they've got to basically start from ground zero. I think I saw that they were going to start running some ads again. I saw some channels that they were going to start to run the ads on. I think that's a good start to try to, wind the car back up and try to get it moving again. Because you can look at the blockchain. See, now that it's an open blockchain, you can look at the Explorer, and you can see there are little transactions that are happening on chain, and there's not a whole lot of AnyTask payments being made that I have been able to identify. So clearly, I use AnyTask. I've been using it to build some NFT stuff for my game, Element World. But I don't think that there's a massive amount of folks using AnyTask, and that's because it went idle. Basically, we heard nothing from anybody from Electroneum for well over 2 years, and if you don't push the snowball, it doesn't roll downhill. So they're gonna have to start pushing it again, and I think that's what their intention is. from what I saw. Um, you want to know him? He says, "Do you think the SEC enacting?" Hey, I'm back. Sorry about that. Eh, stupid phone. um, let's find out. You were asking, do you think the SEC may go after ETN? I think that ETN is such a small player in all of the grand scheme of things that they probably wouldn't go after them at the moment. I think that if Electroneum got bigger, I think they could, especially if they're doing business in the U.S. And this kind of puts me into the category of that, I don't believe that Electroneum, that is Richard Ells, wants to be served any types of papers in any fashion, shape, or form. I think that's the last thing that he wants to have happen. He doesn't want to have to show up to any courts or have to be able to pay any fines or to have his name out there for an unregulated security or a properly undocumented security. So, yeah, I think that that's part or main reason. I think that there was a lot of quiet for a while. That's my personal opinion and nothing else. Beer Can says he thinks Electroneum's been a flop. I'll always hold my ETN, but it's the first ever crypto. It's been disappointing as an investor. So let me answer that there from my perspective, Beer Can. I think that Electroneum has created some decent stuff with a 2-year hiatus. A lot of other projects have caught up and or surpassed what once was a first mover's advantage that Electroneum had. Do I consider Electroneum a flop? No more than I consider my Neo to be a flop or my Elastos to be a flop. Those coins I have also. They're good projects. All three of them are good projects. They're just forgotten legacy coins because everybody runs to the shiny new thing, no matter what it is, because they know everybody's going to jump into it, put money into it, and it becomes a game of musical chairs. And those that are smart enough to grab the gains and get the heck out, they do. It's the same with what was that, Swissborg? They paid all these influencers to talk about Swissborg. It was on every YouTube channel. Swissborg this, Swissborg that, and you don't hear anything about Swissborg anymore, right? Yeah, because they stopped paying them, and nobody gives a crap about it anymore. And so this is how what's going to happen is that you get these influencers and they start talking about particular coins. They get paid. There are some, like I never charged to talk about any coin or to interview anybody. I've never made money on my channel. This was a hobby for me, so I don't worry about that. Somebody wanted to run a 15-second ad, yeah, I'd pay, but it wouldn't be in my voice, or it'd be their commercial, basically a paid commercial. But that's never happened. So, but a lot of the bigger guys, they made a ton. And I tell you a ton, I mean a ton of money, a ton of Bitcoin. Talking about it. These guys would get many, many Bitcoins to talk about projects. And so this is where they get all these, I made $100 million trade today, and it's like, yeah, it's because of all the Bitcoins that they were paid to shill these different coins. So you got to be careful. Let's see here. But oh yeah, second half here. It's been extremely disappointing experience. Well, see, you clarified it as an investor. So somebody who feels that they are an investor and is putting money into something expects to see a return. That's what qualified you as an investor. And in that case, there were plenty of opportunities to sell and get a return. Over the last 3 years, there've been quite a few times where you could have made 8 times, 10 times the money. Many of us have chose not to, and to sit on it, and hoping that it would be able to keep its gain. As an investor, it's disappointing that Electroneum has never been able to hold its gains. But there are windows of opportunity with Electroneum where an investor who's wise can take advantage and actually make some money with it. Are there other opportunities for your money? Yeah. There are many more projects out there that should come first on your list before Electroneum. If you're a true investor where you're demanding gains, and you shouldn't be talking about Electroneum. If you have some extra funds and you want to put it into Electroneum, hold on to some coins, with the price, the SAT value as low it is right now, and you don't mind if that money sits there or breaks even, a couple of years down the road, then so be it. That may be for you. But if if you think you're going to get page one gains from a forgotten legacy coin, that's not going to happen. And the one opportunity, the only opportunity that's even on the board that could see Electroneum really define itself and become valuable is if they are able to pull off this island nations using ETN as state official money or state approved cryptocurrency that can definitely, if you're another country and you're like, well, do I use Bitcoin? Do I use this? If I use Electroneum, there's a reason why these other countries probably used it. We should take a look at it. That could snowball. That's the only thing on the table that could make a significant difference in the value, the SAT value of Electroneum. The coupons and adding KYC and having NFTs, that doesn't bring value to the coin. That's functionality that should be in the damn thing to begin with, to call it even a project. Right? Look at me in the eyes. Right here. Look at me in the eyes. You know it as well as I do. All right? You gotta have KYC to have a project these days, basically, especially if you did an ICO. I created a coin, but I gave them away free. And all the coins that are minted are given away free to stake, the people that put it into the stake, that stake it on tribal decks. So I had no ICO for Digit Spin Coin, DSPN. I gave away 250,000 of them, and people, put them into the staking. They use their wallet, they stake them in their wallet, and then they get more free coins. And that's as simple as that. Now, it's not my fault or responsibility that people want to trade them for 25 cents or 20 cents. That's between those people. It has nothing to do with me. So, I went, that's, why Bitcoin isn't harassed, because it was free. Everything was free. It's given away free.
So that's kind of how that works. All right, let's see here. Hey, Paul, how you doing? Good to see you. On my way home. How you doing out there? Crypto Dog. Good to see you, my friend. Let's see here. Um, Zach. Zach says, hey, Dino Bambino, you might not have heard this enough, but I think you're a very smart person. Made your own crypto. Maybe one day Electroneum will call you. I doubt it. But thank you for the compliment. I appreciate that. AnyTask versus Western Union or MoneyGram. You want to know me? Two different things. Western Union and MoneyGram does not give you the opportunity to earn money. They will transfer your money and charge you an arm and a leg to get it transferred, but it has nothing to do with AnyTask. Now, Electroneum versus Western Union and MoneyGram, I think Electroneum is a far better way of going about it than paying prices for MoneyGram or Western Union for international transfers. Electroneum, $10 soon. Crypto Dog still calling it his $10 Electroneum. I hope you're right, Crypto Dog. Hi from the UK. I wonder if I can swap this around. Let's see if that works. All right, there we go. All right, this way it looks like I'm looking at you guys when you talk. Okay. Now let's go back here. It says here, hi from the UK. We got that one there from On My Way Home. You want to know me? Bad move from Electroneum miners. So I'm not sure about to nonprofit who doesn't care for Electroneum. Well, obviously they care. If you have a nonprofit that's garnering proceeds from hosting miner or being responsible for a miner, I can't see how they wouldn't care when it's been paying and raising funds for them. So I don't see that to be true. Yep. We saw Paul out there and Zach. Everyone hit the like button. I know we all forgot. Hey, that would be appreciated. Deadly wound. Every dog has its day. It's coming. So yeah, that's the. You never know. Yeah, anything can happen. I gotta get a stand for my phone. It'd make my life a lot easier. All right, guys. I'm gonna cook my my chili. Get that up and running. So I can have myself lunch. I don't know what time it is. It's probably 4 or 5. And so like most people would call it dinner. First dinner. So I get my first dinner and we'll see what happens. So I'm gonna let you guys go. Appreciate you hanging out with me for a few minutes. If I can, I'll get back on a little bit later about a different topic and we'll move forward and we'll see what else we could do. But hey, it was great seeing all of you. Thank you for hanging out with me. And I'll talk to you soon. We've done 48 minutes. I can't believe it. Holy smokes. Crazy, crazy, crazy. Ha!